Today I'm going to go over a very popular core exercise that a lot of you probably have a very love-hate relationship with, the plank. The plank is a popular exercise for very good reason. It is such a great core exercise that can be utilized by people that are new to working out to even elite level athletes. There are so many ways to progress it and make it more or less challenging. A standard plank is primarily going to target the transverse abdominis. So that is that deepest layer of muscle, and it's the one that is responsible for bracing you when you're about to get punched in the stomach. In addition to your transverse abdominis, the plank does also target other muscle groups, primarily your quads, your glutes, and your shoulders, but it can be progressed to target many other different muscle groups as well. To get in position for a plank, you're going to want to start by bringing your elbows directly below your shoulders, shoulder width apart. Your forearms are going to go straight ahead and you want them parallel to each other. You can either do this with your thumbs up with fists or your palms flat on the ground. You just want to make sure that your elbows are directly below your shoulders throughout the whole exercise. Once we have our arms and hands set, we want to go ahead and put our feet back right next to each other. This is going to be for a standard version of a plank. You can spread them a little bit wider if you want more stability. That's going to make it a little bit easier, but typically your feet will be right together. And from here, we're going to slightly tuck our pelvis forward, which is going to engage our quads and our glutes, and you should feel that transverse abdominis engaging as well, which again, it's going to be kind of like you're bracing for somebody about to punch you in the stomach. From here, we just hold it. You want to make sure that you're keeping your shoulders right above your elbows, feet together, your pelvis tucked. Everything should be nice and tight. You hold this long enough, your whole body's going to be shaking. The two most common mistakes I see with this exercise are, number one, people letting their hips sink down. You're not getting your core engaged at all, and if anything, you're going to kill your lower back by doing this. The second most common mistake I see is people sticking their butt up in the air like this, and it's just cheating, making the exercise easier, and there are better ways to regress this exercise than making yourself look like a stink bug. The first way that I would suggest to regress this movement is just to drop to your knees. Make sure you still have your pelvis tucked and your core engaged. It's going to take away some of that lever to make this a lot easier on you. Another way to make it easier is just to not hold it for quite as long. Let's say your goal is to hold it for 2 minutes. Instead of just going for that 2 minutes and sticking your butt up in the air slowly, hold it for 4 30-second sessions. Then you can go on to 45-second sessions, then maybe 2 1 minutes, until you're able to get to that 2-minute goal or whatever your goal may be. There are about a million different ways to progress this exercise, but I'm just going to go over a few of my personal favorites. Number one is using a ball of some sort. If you're at a gym, you could use a medicine ball. I have a soccer ball here, basketball, volleyball, any sort of ball is going to work. The ball is going to add a new element of some instability. Instead of putting your forearms on the ground, now you're going to hold the ball with your hands, and you want to put your hands directly below your shoulders so that your arms are perpendicular to the floor. You're going to stick your feet out, feet together, tuck your pelvis forward, get everything nice and tight, and now we're doing the exact same thing, but we have that instability of this ball that could roll around, so it's going to really hit those stabilizing muscles a little bit more. Another variation would be to prop your feet up on something elevated, so this is going to put you in a little bit more of a decline position. So we'll start out the same way with our elbows directly below our shoulders, palms flat or fists or whatever your preference is. Then we're going to put our feet up on top of here, feet together, pelvis tucked. Adjust if you need to make sure those elbows are directly below your shoulders. And we're just going to hold it here. This is going to place more emphasis on the shoulders and the upper body now. Now it's time for some real fun. We're going to combine the two. We're going to put the ball out in front of us, holding it with our hands. We're going to put our feet up on top, pelvis tucked. Now we're no longer in a decline, this is more of a flat plank, but we've got the instability here as well, just making it a different angle. One more variation, in case you want to really torture yourself, is a push plank. We're going to start in our normal plank position. We're going to push one hand up, other hand up, and down. This is going to help get our chest in there And it's also going to be a little bit more cardio. When you're doing the push plank, you want to make sure you're not swaying too much. Try to keep the swaying to a minimum. Also, switch which hand you're starting with. Otherwise, you're just going to create imbalances. This might be a little bit too easy. You might want to at least not lie down, maybe get off the ground a little bit. No? All right.